Hi there, and welcome to The Celeb Tea. Emily Simpson, The Rise, The Cracks, and The Illusion of Control. When Emily Simpson first stepped onto the screen of The Real Housewives of Orange County, she seemed like the perfect addition, elegant, articulate, and self-assured. A successful attorney turned reality TV personality, Emily projected the image of a modern, confident woman who had it all. Her entrance into the glamorous world of Orange County came wrapped in an aura of intelligence and class, backed by her legal background and polished demeanor. Viewers saw her as someone different from the usual reality TV archetype, not merely a trophy wife or socialite, but a professional woman who had carved out her own identity before fame found her. Behind the designer wardrobes and suburban luxury that defined the show, Emily stood out. She didn't just speak with flair, she spoke with the precision of someone trained to defend her case. Her words carried weight, her confidence commanded attention, and her composure added a level of sophistication rarely seen in the emotionally charged environment of reality TV. For a moment, she seemed untouchable, poised between intellect and influence. But beneath that polished image, the cracks had already begun to form. From the very start, subtle tensions surfaced between Emily's private reality and her public persona. Her marriage to Shane Simpson appeared strained, her emotional balance wavered, and her carefully maintained image began to show signs of vulnerability. The storyline that initially promised empowerment slowly shifted into one of unraveling. In the early seasons, she was a refreshing change, calm, composed, and rational amid chaos. Yet, as the show progressed, that composure started to slip. Reality television, after all, does not reward restraint. It thrives on conflict, emotion, and spectacle. In the courtroom, Emily was used to dealing with facts, evidence, and reason. But on The Real Housewives, those principles meant little. The editing, the reactions, and the ratings dictated the narrative. Slowly, Emily's logical approach gave way to defensiveness. Her confessional interviews shifted from sharp legal reasoning to emotional self-defense. She began to sound less like the confident lawyer viewers admired and more like someone fighting to prove herself in a world where appearances mattered more than truth. Fans noticed the transformation. Many began to wonder whether Emily was still an attorney in practice or if the title had simply become a part of her television brand. Her discussions about legal issues on the show, from explaining contracts to offering unsolicited advice, once made her stand out as knowledgeable. But over time, these moments began to feel performative. Questions surfaced online. Was Emily still actively practicing law, or was the lawyer label now more of a marketing tool? Some fans even accused her of using her professional background as a weapon rather than a source of integrity. "She's not a full-time lawyer anymore," one Reddit user wrote. "She just throws that title around to feel superior." That criticism struck at the core of her public image. Reality TV audiences can sense inauthenticity, and once they do, credibility erodes quickly. Emily's various roles, attorney, wife, mother, and star, began to collide. The lawyer persona that once elevated her began to look more like a costume, something she put on to stand out among the diamonds and designer handbags. As the illusion of control weakened, viewers saw more of Emily's personal life, particularly her turbulent marriage to Shane. What was meant to be a relatable story about the challenges of balancing career and family turned into a display of emotional strain. On-screen arguments, tearful confessions, and visible exhaustion painted a picture of a woman on the brink. During one episode, Emily openly confessed, "I feel like I'm hanging on in every aspect of my life, as a mom, a wife, and in my career." That level of transparency should have evoked empathy, but instead, it exposed how fragile her balance had become. Viewers no longer saw the confident attorney they once admired. They saw someone barely keeping herself together. Even her most personal moments, such as her struggles with her son Luke's eating habits, became subject to public scrutiny. Instead of eliciting compassion, these scenes often amplified perceptions of instability. The calm, self-assured Emily, who once commanded respect, seemed to be slipping away. Adding to her challenges were persistent rumors about her finances. Many speculated that Emily's lavish lifestyle was supported not by her legal work or her husband's earnings, but by her in-laws. Although Emily vehemently denied the allegations, telling Us Weekly, "If my parents funded my lifestyle, why would I even be sitting on this couch working?" The damage had already been done. The accusations, though baseless, struck at the heart of her carefully built narrative of independence and success. When your public image is built on being self-made, even the suggestion that your wealth comes from elsewhere can be devastating. Viewers began to question whether Emily's story of empowerment was truly her own, or if it was a facade maintained for the cameras. That gap between what she projected and what people believed grew larger each season, and once reality TV audiences start doubting authenticity, it's nearly impossible to win them back. Emily Simpson, The Fall from Composure. As Emily's career on The Real Housewives of Orange County unfolded, her calm exterior began to fracture under the pressures of constant exposure. What once made her stand out, her own or intelligence, confidence, and professionalism, was now overshadowed by defensiveness, conflict, and public doubt. The attorney who once brought logic to chaos was slowly consumed by the chaos itself. Emily's interactions with her castmates reflected this shift. Her disputes became more personal, her tone more judgmental. What viewers once saw as assertiveness began to look like arrogance. She used her legal background to lecture others, often coming across as condescending instead of composed. During conflicts, she appeared to take the moral high ground, criticizing her co-stars for dishonesty or emotional instability. But those accusations often rebounded, making her look hypocritical. As she became more involved in other people's drama, audiences began to question whether her concern was genuine or performative. Her feud with Tamra Judge highlighted this shift perfectly. What began as a minor disagreement spiraled into a public exchange of accusations, jealousy, and emotional outbursts. Emily's attempts to defend herself were passionate but erratic, revealing how deeply the show's environment had affected her. The once calm professional now looked like just another participant in the endless cycle of gossip and tears. Every confrontation chipped away at the composed image she had built. Her online presence made things worse. Social media, which once served as a platform for her to share her family life and legal insights, turned into a battleground. She posted defensive responses to critics, indirect jabs at co-stars, and emotional rants that contradicted her polished persona. Fans who had followed her for her poise and intelligence were now witnessing a woman in constant reaction mode. One viral incident, when Emily and Tamra were caught urinating outside during a night out, drew massive backlash, with even her husband Shane calling it disgusting. It was more than an embarrassing moment, it was symbolic of how far Emily had drifted from her original image of refinement and self-control. As the seasons went on, Emily's emotional exhaustion became impossible to hide. Scenes of her crying, expressing anxiety, and feeling lost painted a portrait of a woman trying desperately to maintain an identity that no longer fit. Her authenticity, once her strongest asset, now seemed forced. Viewers didn't see a successful attorney balancing life and fame. They saw someone overwhelmed by the expectations of reality television. By the time season 19 aired, even Emily admitted that the show's finale had left her speechless and uneasy. That vulnerability was human, but it also underscored how much she had lost control of her narrative. The lawyer who entered the show as a symbol of balance and intellect had become part of the emotional spectacle she once observed from a distance. In the end, Emily Simpson's downfall wasn't the result of one scandal or betrayal. It was the slow, painful erosion that comes from living too long under the lens of performance. The image she built to inspire strength and self-reliance eventually consumed her. Fame magnified her flaws, blurred her truth, and stripped away the boundaries between her public persona and her private reality. Her story stands as a modern cautionary tale. In the world of reality television, authenticity is the first casualty.